Hi, we're presenting Lululemon and its impact in the sports industry sector. We will discuss the company's model. First, I'll begin with the background. And you can go, next slide. It was founded in Vancouver, Canada in 1998 by Chip Wilson. It began as a design studio by day and a yoga studio by night. Its first designs were meant for yoga and targeted towards women. Now it offers men's and women's gear for yoga, biking or cycling, running, and training, and any other sport/activity. It opened its first official Lululemon standalone store in November of 2000 on West 4th Avenue. In 2008, Christine Day, former co-president of Starbucks, became chief executive officer of Lululemon. In 2013, Chip resigned as CEO and Laurent Potdevin became CEO, who was president of Tom's Shoes. Next slide. The purpose is that the technical athletic gear is for both men and women. It was yoga inspired because of the background of the shop used to be a yoga studio. It also provides long-lasting, high-quality athletic gear that looks good. To next slide. The mission and core values. The core values of Lululemon are of quality, product, integrity, balance, entrepreneurship, greatness, and fun, and are lived by our people every day and are at the heart of our unique company culture. The mission is to elevate the world from mediocrity to greatness, empower people to reach their full potential through providing the right tools and resources and encouraging a culture of leadership, goal setting, and personal responsibility.
The vision statement for Lululemon is to be the experimental brand that ignites a community of people living the sweat life through sweat, grow, and connect. Lululemon expands on this idea by stating, "Our vision for our store was to create more than a place where people could get gear to sweat in. We wanted to create a community hub where people could learn and discuss the physical aspects of healthy living, mindfulness, and living a life of possibility." It was also important for us to create real relationships with our guests and understand what they were passionate about, how they like to sweat, and help them celebrate their goals. Today, we do this in our stores around the globe. So the main vision of Lululemon is to bring a community of people who like to work out together and put them in athletic clothes that they feel comfortable in and enjoy working out in. Next slide.
So what I'm going to be talking about is the product and what they do and why they're different from every other workout clothing brand. So anyone who's felt any pair of Lululemon shorts, shirt, leggings, pants can tell that they feel different from any other type of cotton shirt or any other jean or type of clothing at all. And the reason is this is something called moisture wicking. And we have a video here if you want to start it. This is kind of what moisture wicking is, and I'll explain to you a little more after. All right, so as you can see in the video, it talks about how they're one of the fastest drying fabrics and what they do. And the reason, if you go back to their slide, real quick. The reason behind all this is they have this thing which is called the four-way stretching, or a four-way stretch. And what that does is, as you can see in the picture, there's 4 layers to all of their types of clothing, and it's all cross-hatch stitching and layered on top of each other and put together. And what this allows the fabric to do is it channels the sweat to the outer surface of the fabric or the clothes. So when you're sweating, the sweat is actually going through the fabric the opposite way, and it kind of acts as like a water resistant or waterproof jacket, and it would kind of just fall off of the fabric like any waterproof material would do. And so what this four-way stretching is, as you can see in the picture in the top right, is it allows you to stretch the clothes any direction rather than a cotton shirt, which would only stretch in the direction it was sewed in. So there's actually 4 layers to each pair of clothing. And then if you go to the next slide, I have one more video about the 4-way stretch.
Surge running short, the ultimate run short for every runner. Hold up, aren't all runners different? You bet. And runners take pride in being particular too. So we started by asking ourselves what we wanted out of a running kit. You know, how to make it our way. Like always, we looped in our athletes and ambassadors, and our list of must-haves got pretty long. So we didn't just make one all-or-nothing short. We made this short, the Surge running short, with options. Lots of them. Like with or without a liner, and in 6-inch and 4-inch lengths. All in our lightweight, swift fabric with perforation for added breathability. With a no-bounce, zipperless envelope phone pocket, because we know phones are part of the kit too. Just like the smart reflective details to finish the look. Yep, that's what you do. So we did. The Surge running short. The running short with options because, well, all runners are different. In a good way.
So as you can see in that video, that's a pair of male Lululemon shorts. And I actually have a pair with me right now that I want to show you as soon as this recording is over, and show you how 4-way stretching works and looks in a real pair of men's shorts. So next slide.
Okay, I'm going to discuss the target consumer. So for Lululemon, their consumer is men and women ages 18 to 35 with a fitness mindset in the upper middle class. Their primary consumer is stated as the sophisticated and educated man or woman who understands the importance of an active and healthy lifestyle. He or she is tasked with a dual responsibility to balance work, life, and health. And Lululemon believes that consumer purchases are driven by both an actual need for functional products and a desire to live a particular lifestyle. So most of the users of Lululemon products are men and women who have a family, are also working a job, and also want to prioritize exercising in their life. You can go to the next slide. So the competition that Lululemon faces, although they're not the leisure company, and they kind of started the athleisure phenomenon. So some competitors are going to be Nike, Athleta, Adidas, Under Armour, and just lately Outdoor Voices. In Q4 of 2019, Lululemon Athletica Incorporated commented on the competition as competition in the athletic apparel industry is principally on the basis of brand image and recognition, as well as product quality, innovation, style, distribution, and price. We believe that we successfully compete on the basis of our premium brand image, our focus on women, and our technical product innovation. In addition, we believe our vertical retail distribution strategy differentiates us from our competitors and allows us to more effectively control our brand image. So Lululemon is stating that they stand out from other competitors by their branding innovation. And one of the innovation we just talked about was their 4-way stretching and also their fabric that is seen in most women's clothing. Go to the next slide.
All right, so to begin, I'm talking about Lululemon sponsorship efforts. So to start, Lululemon isn't involved in a sponsorship program, basically where they go and sponsor events, but more they have an ambassador program, which involves building relationships with local athletic centers, as well as partnering with instructors and communities to offer merchandise in exchange for free classes. So to begin, Lululemon's ambassador program is also an extension of the company's unique goal-oriented corporate culture that encourages personal growth to better serve both educators and guests, which are the consumers in that. So there are three types of categories of relationships that exist within the ambassador program. So to start, there are global yoga ambassadors, a total of 8 experienced instructors with with different types of practices within each center. And then on top of that, there are elite ambassadors, which are over 75 professional athletes from soccer, cycling, and more. And then finally, there are store ambassadors where there are over 1,500 local influencers in personal training, yoga, running, and more active pursuits. So within the ambassador program, they target 3 types of people in order for them to sponsor Lululemon, in order for Lululemon to sponsor them and get their brand name out there. So they target people that either sweat, connect, or grow. So for sweat, it's if you're a runner, an artist, a chef, anybody that is a leader in their community and who makes a positive impact. And then for growth, if you're committed to growth professionally, financially, or in your community, then Lululemon provides them with tools that will help them accomplish those goals. And then finally, they have people that connect. So they believe that every connection can spark something amazing. So if you build relationships in your community through athletic endeavors, then they would pick you in order to be an ambassador and get the name of Lululemon out there. So then a rep for the brand wrote that in an email that ambassadors are chosen because they reflect their culture and their core values. And company employees do not capitalize that name. It is just based off of ambassadors that are picked in order to get the name of the company out there. And it's more about the focus of a loyalty to a brand rather than going and sponsoring events and stuff. But in terms of some events that they do, they host yoga classes that they provide the instructors with merchandise from Lululemon that kind of just shows that their company really supports that, and then more people that attend that class buy that stuff as well. So it gets the name of the brand out there. So yeah, that's it.
So I'm going to talk about their marketing efforts. And one of the reasons that Lululemon is so successful as a company is because of their unique marketing strategy, or when at the time it was extremely unique and a new marketing strategy. So originally their founder saw an opportunity to create a new target market for athletic leisure apparel, or athleisure. And he created after creating this new product in the early 2000s by by bringing in all of these different people in the community, and making them ambassadors for the company, he was able to create a completely new client base of the upper middle class. And by targeting these people, he really grew the company's name because people either wanted this product because the person they were working out with or their yoga instructor had it, or because they saw it as a new social status that they could reach by wearing it. And so Lululemon's, one of their best marketing strategy was the bags, or the reusable bags they have. And as you know, everyone uses them from taking lunch to work, or using it as a school bag, or any of the various different uses. And while this might be a higher initial investment for them, it actually created a lot more benefit in their marketing campaign after the fact. And another way that they engage with the community is through having yoga classes at their stores. The one in Dallas doesn't have any yoga classes, but it's a big push that they have in many of their Canada locations, especially at the headquarters. So at their headquarters, every Saturday and Sunday, they have a yoga class that they're able to, it's free to the public. You just have to sign up online. And by doing that, they increase engagement on their social media, because one of the stipulations is that you follow them on Instagram. And so that leads me into their next biggest marketing campaign is through social media. They have one of the largest social media followings for a apparel company, and they do this because everyone wants to see their new products that they very rarely release. And finally, one of their the last tactics they have is engaging with the store staff. So if you walk into any Lululemon store, the staff members don't want to just sell you the product, but they want to make sure that you understand why they use their products. So they might talk to you about the gym they go to or the experience they had while using their products. Eunice, you're up.
All these marketing efforts that Max talked about has resulted in a lot of growth in sales over the last few years. They've had 83% growth over the last 5 years, with about 24 to 25% of that coming in the last year, which is enormous growth for a company that's as established as Lululemon is. This has resulted in a big jump in their share price before the coronavirus outbreak, and now it's sitting at about $200, whereas it was at $260 a few months ago. And this has shown how successful the company has been and how there's still a lot of potential for future growth, with a lot of future sales growth. And this is translated down the line with strong EBITDA growth as well, which is even larger than their sales growth because of increasing margins, as well as a strong growth in EPS, which is something investors really focus on when valuing a company. On the next slide, as Max mentioned, there are a lot of different types of jobs, including the educators. They don't have an established internship program, but they have taken a few summer interns in the past. And in the last decade, this might have been affected by the coronavirus outbreak, so I'm not sure how that program is going on today, but they usually communicate this through their social media very well. They also have a lot of different jobs because they have over 15,000 employees worldwide. First, they have their store jobs, which include the educators that Max mentioned, and also the assistant managers. These educators are your typical retail jobs that focus on interacting with customers as well as restocking stores, but they also add a different responsibility of also educating the consumer about how the product is different. And this kind of differentiates it from their other competitors because they focus on kind of creating a connection with the customer, as well as teaching them how good their product is and why it's worth maybe an extra few dollars and how it'll pay off in the end. The assistant manager focuses on overseeing these educators in the store, as well as meeting the deliverables that they have to meet, their deadlines, and they kind of just represent the store as a whole. Next, they also have distribution jobs, and this is mainly focusing on the supply side of the business. This is receiving, packaging, and shipping of inventory, and there's a variety of jobs for this. A big thing that Lululemon really focuses on here is building relationships with their suppliers, because if you don't have a good relationship with your supplier, then you're not going to be able to have a good relationship with their customer. As I mentioned, there are a lot of different types of jobs and different levels, and you can move up quite a bit in this type of job. They also have call center jobs, and these are mainly located in Asia. And this is just a call center where people answer any questions about customer service, and it's open 24 hours. So it's an easy access for customers that have any problems with their products. Finally, we have the store support jobs, and these are the jobs that are probably the most relevant to this class. And these are usually run in their headquarters in Vancouver, and then there are other locations like in Seattle. If we go to the next slide, these jobs kind of vary. They basically encompass anything a business would need, from finance, accounting, and then you also have your creativity and your product development, branding, graphics design, marketing. Basically, everything is encompassed here. So it doesn't really matter what field you're in. If you're interested in Lululemon, you can definitely get a job there, and whatever your field is. Just a kind of idea of how, like, what you would do in this job. So if you were running the brand operations, you would look at their different contracts and work with the vendors to get the name out there. If you were working with marketing, you would have an email marketing team that would focus on emailing directly to consumers to kind of get the product out there and see how they like the product. And a lot of these jobs, you need about 2 to 4 years of experience just to be considered for the job. So they're not always the best for college people. Um, However, they do have some bottom entry level jobs that you can move up higher in the organization. So you can start as an educator in one of their stores, or after you graduate college, you can get an entry level job, and that way you can move higher to those senior level positions, which most likely pay more. If we go to the next slide, I can talk about some of the recent news that has come out because of the coronavirus outbreak. So recently, their stock fell from, as I mentioned, it was at $260. It actually fell to about $140 a few weeks ago, and that was the low. And now it's kind of rebounded back up to 200, and that was a drop of about 20%. However, a big part of that back increase back up to 200 was they beat their Q4 earnings projections. They beat their projected EPS over the fourth quarter, and they beat their sales. And this kind of renewed confidence in investors because of the coronavirus outbreak. They were still able to post strong sales and stuff. However, in February, they did have to close all of their stores in China because that's kind of where the outbreak originated. Right now, they're reopening a lot of those stores. However, because now it's moved to the other side of the world, they've had to close all of their stores in the US and in Europe, as well as Malaysia and Thailand. Not Thailand, New Zealand. And this has kind of been uh, a bit of a problem as they foresee that there could be problems meeting their guidance for 2020. However, they recently issued a statement saying that they're working to keep their employees safe by closing their stores. They created a 2 million ambassador relief fund to assist the ambassador-run sweat studios and cover operating costs. They've been working to support the family, and they're going to keep paying all of their employees through June 1st, whether the stores are open or closed. They have reduced senior leadership salaries by 20%, and members of the board are also going to lose their cash. This isn't a huge deal because a lot of those leadership people in their contracts, they have stock options, so they get paid maybe up to $1 million in cash, like for the CEO, but they have like 20 million in stock, so they can afford to forego the cash in their contract. And the way that Lululemon has approached this crisis is really important from a consumer standpoint and for someone who's willing to work there. And from a consumer standpoint, Lululemon has really seen an online shopping boost because people are still able to order their products online. They also are able to have virtual appointments with educators to learn about the products and find the best product that works for them. That's what this image is kind of showing, like the process that they have to kind of work through this. So overall, as a company, Lululemon has really approached the crisis very well by offering new alternatives to consumers and employers while ensuring the safety of their employers. So I think as a college student, Lululemon would be a great place to work in the future, especially after you get a little bit of experience in the retail space. So thank you for listening to our presentation. We really appreciate it.